Before we go any further, stop for a second. Not metaphorically, actually stop. Because everything you think you know about normal is wrong. Normal isn't a rule, it's a coincidence. And coincidences don't last forever. Earth feels normal to you for one reason only. You were born here. That's it. No deeper truth, no cosmic meaning. If you had been born almost anywhere else, your first memory wouldn't be a sky, it would be pain. If you had opened your eyes for the first time on almost any other planet in the universe, this place would feel like a miracle so fragile it borders on absurd. A miracle balanced on a knife's edge, one small change, and it disappears. Liquid water just sitting there, not boiling, not frozen, not ripping itself apart into vapor. That shouldn't happen. Not here, not for long. An atmosphere that doesn't burn your lungs, doesn't dissolve your blood, doesn't slowly kill you with every breath. Most atmospheres would, ours doesn't. For now. Gravity that holds you down, but not so much that it crushes your organs, and not so little that you'd adrift helplessly into space. Change it by a fraction, and your body loses the argument. This balance feels boring to us, because we live inside it. Comfort makes us careless, and careless species don't last long. But step outside Earth for a moment and you realize something terrifying. This planet is not the rule, it is the exception, an extreme one. And exceptions don't define the universe, they get erased by it. Most planets are not a bit uncomfortable. They are not places you could adapt to. They are not environments you could survive with better technology or stronger suits. They are instantly lethal. Some would burn your skin before your brain could even process pain. Others would freeze you so completely that movement itself becomes impossible. On some worlds, gravity wouldn't pull you down, it would pull you apart. Not violently, slowly. There would be time to understand what's happening, not enough time to stop it. Stretching your body longer and thinner until structure fails. And here's the strange part. When humans imagine the end of the world, we imagine noise, explosions, screaming, monsters, enemies with faces. We imagine something happening to us, but the universe doesn't work that way. The real danger doesn't announce itself, it doesn't arrive, it doesn't attack, it simply exists. The universe doesn't hate us, it doesn't want us gone. Doesn't even notice us, and that indifference is far more dangerous than any villain. Because indifference means no warning, no mercy, and no second chance. Now stop again. Don't rush me. I need you to actually imagine this, piece by piece. There are planets where rain is a weapon, not poetic rain, not acid rain, not freezing sleet, rain that is molten metal, liquid iron. Droplets hot enough to glow red as they fall. Imagine clouds so hot they are made of metal vapor. Imagine droplets forming, surface tension like mercury, then falling through an atmosphere that would strip flesh from bone. Imagine standing under that sky. Imagine the sound, or rather, the absence of sound, because the air is dense, charged, and moving in a way your ears were never built to record. On another world, wind does not blow, wind commands. Speeds exceed 7,000 kilometers an hour. Numbers that mean nothing until you try to picture them. A gust that would cross a continent in minutes. Hills, trees, entire coastlines eroded into dust as if sand were a knife. If you were there, your concept of strong breaks. You wouldn't feel the wind. Your nervous system would not be fast enough to register the impulse. You wouldn't be pushed. You would simply be erased like a word rubbed from paper. There are planets that have grown so close to their suns that they've lost the luxury of cycles. One face locked in a perpetual furnace where rock drips like liquid and day is a smear of white heat. The other face frozen in a night that never warms, an eternal dark. where molecular motion slows towards stillness. No sunrise, no sunset, no calendar. Just one permanent condition maintained for millions of years. And somewhere else, gravity itself becomes a slow scalpel. It is not only the pull, it is a geometry of pressure that bends bones into useless rods, crushes air from lungs, and makes blood a static pool. If you somehow survive impact, your skeleton betrays you first. Joints collapse, sinews fail, organs fold. Your heart, a pump that depends on pressure gradients and muscle strength, simply cannot do its job. And here is the brutal part. These worlds are not anomalies. They are solutions. Stable orbits, steady chemistry, predictable seasons. For them, predictability is different from comfort. Physics isn't broken. Physics is indifferent. You are the accident. If we accept that planets can be ovens, anvils, or vacuum graves, then life, if it exists, there would not whisper. It would be a scream on a microscopic scale. Picture organisms shaped by pressure so extreme that bones would be a design flaw. Structure must be flexible, compressible, not brittle. Skeletons, if they exist, are not frames but internal lattices that dissipate force. Think of skins that are not soft but reflective mirrors to radiation because absorption kills. Think of respiratory systems that do not inhale oxygen but cycle volatile, poisonous chemicals into usable energy. Think of metabolisms tuned not to sugar or sunlight but to sulfur, to metal ions, to radiation gradients. Eyes? Maybe not. Sensing that could be about detecting energy flows, heat signatures, electric fields, the rhythm of molecular motion. Movement might look like slinky-like flows, bodies that smear through viscous air, limbs that are flaps and fins, and pressure sheaths. Most importantly, life there would be relentless, not gentle, not curious, not pretty. It would be efficient, brutal, and intolerant. Every moment of existence would be an adaptation. Every breath, a recalculation. Growth would be a negotiation with force itself. And if some of that sounds like fantasy, remember. On Earth, we already have life that thrives in conditions we once called impossible. Bacteria in boiling vents, microbes, acid, organisms that live in near vacuum. If life on Earth can bend chemistry and biology to survive extremes here, what could evolution do with 1 billion years under a different rule? Now, the moral sting, we would not be their masters. We would be an oddity, a fragile stranger, possibly a snack. If one of those worlds has life, and it very well might, it won't look at us and say, hello. It might not even notice us because its scale and priorities are unrelated to ours. Come back to Earth with me, slowly. Look at your hand, the skin, the veins, the tiny hairs. Think about every system that hums invisibly so you can be reading these words. Beneath our feet, a molten iron core spins. It is not poetry, it is a dynamo, a physical machine that generates a magnetic field. That field is not decoration, it fights. It deflects charged particles from the sun, solar winds that would otherwise strip atmospheres and fry electronics. Without it, satellites in orbit would ionize and fail. Solar storms would tear open power grids. GPS would become random noise. Aviation at high altitudes would be perilous. And on longer time scales, our atmosphere itself could be peeled away slowly by relentless solar particles. A process that turned a once wet Mars into a cold, barren rock. On a human timescale, this looks like a sequence of outages, communication failures, blackouts, navigation collapse. But underneath that sequence is a fragile physics chain that humans rarely consider. We focus on headlines, wars, plagues, technological threats because they are visible and dramatic. We ignore the quiet gears. And those quiet gears are ancient. They run on molten flows, crystalline structures, and balances measured in millions of years. We live inside a system that is simultaneously violent and gentle, violent in the cosmic forces that shaped it, gentle in the balance that resulted. To be alive here is not a guarantee. It is a perch, a precarious stage. Now, answer me this. Honestly, how many times before this minute have you thought about the fact that a spinning ball of metal under your feet protects the air you breathe? We build stories, technologies, and politics as if the ground beneath us is unchanging. We argue about who deserves what, how power must be shared, which technologies to fear, all while the real scaffolding of life hums quietly below. That ignorance is not innocence, it's vulnerability. We have touched the edge of other worlds with instruments, telescopes, and probes. We have found extremes, we have found the unexpected, we have learned humility, but the universe is vast. We have seen fragments, we have glimpsed rules different from our own. And that should terrify you because it means our map is incomplete. There could be systems, processes, life forms, or physical truths that do not care about our values, our ethics, our plans. Their existence would not be malevolent, they would simply be. And the most dangerous possibility is that something like that already exists nearby, perfectly adapted, invisible to our conditioned senses. This is the real cliff, not that the universe is out to get us, but that it keeps secrets we think we know. So stay curious, stay urgent, and when you look up at the sky tonight, don't be comforted by the stars, be serious about them, because the next discovery might not be pretty, it might not be cinematic, it might simply rewrite what you consider possible. We stand on a fragile miracle. We have barely started to understand it. Curiologic takes you to the edge of the imaginable, exploring worlds that are as dangerous as they are fascinating. Subscribe now and step into the universe's most extreme planets.